We don't need a child born from someone only finished middle school. I gave him up for adoption. Catherine, first of all, I haven't given birth yet, you know?
Catherine claims that she has taken away a child that I have no memory of giving birth to. Her behavior became erratic, and her fate turned tragic. My name is Annie, a 28-year-old housewife. My husband, Kevin, graduated from a good university and works for a well-known company. Due to certain circumstances, my highest education is middle school. I used to feel inadequate compared to Kevin, who graduated from a prestigious university. However, he saw my personality, courted me, and we got married. His family holds somewhat old-fashioned beliefs. His father had a belief that a woman doesn't need education. It was different from the modern focus on education, which ironically worked in my favor. It's ironic that his ideas, which are considered problematic in modern times, actually saved me without any proper academic background. Yet, after 2 years of marriage, he passed away in a car accident. We were worried leaving Kevin's mother, Catherine, alone at home. We didn't move in together but chose to live nearby. She became overly reliant on Kevin, and, whenever there was an issue, she called for him. However, since he was busy, I often went instead. He went to help her whenever he could, saying I didn't need to force myself to visit her. Yet, I was sorry for her, having lost a loved one in an accident, so it did not bother me at all. However, she became extremely irritable when I went, because all she wants was Kevin. I would have concerned if he was too close to her, but our relationship was going well. We just hoped that Catherine gets over her loss soon. Just then, we found out that we were expecting a baby. Since I'd have less time to visit Catherine, we decided to inform her about our baby. However, instead of blessings, she insisted on terminating the pregnancy. A week later, a letter arrived. As I opened it, I found divorce papers already signed by Catherine as a witness. I was utterly shocked. When I saw the second document enclosed, I dropped the one I held. In a panic, I called Catherine.
Catherine, what's with the letter? Oh, you've opened it? Just sign it and submit it to the court quickly.
Since announcing the pregnancy, her attitude had blatantly worsened. Whenever Kevin wasn't around, she was always like this.
You see, even if I grant that the divorce papers are a form of harassment targeting me, what about this marriage certificate with your and Kevin's names on it? Of course, I'm marrying him. Diversity is a thing now. It's perfectly fine for biological parent and child to become a couple.
I couldn't process what she was saying.
Catherine, legally, you can't marry your child no matter what. Kevin doesn't have any feelings for you beyond being a son. We could have a common law marriage. I did my research. I couldn't oppose the marriage between Kevin and you because my husband was there, but I'm disgusted by the fact that my grandchild is coming from an uneducated woman like you. I can still get pregnant. I read on the internet the oldest of having a baby was 57. I can still make it. Just divorce him quickly.
I didn't want to hear her anymore. It wasn't about what was being said, but it was the genuine revulsion in Catherine's words. The fact that she was looking at her own son in that way was beyond my comprehension. The idea of having a child of her own son at her age, that twisted mindset gripped my heart so much that I couldn't stand. Even if I weren't pregnant, it would have been unbearable.
I'll talk to Kevin about it. Do it quickly. I don't have time.
I also thought I should talk about this with him right away, so as soon as he returned home, I shared what happened today presenting the letter.
So, what do you think? Huh? This has to be a joke, right? But, these are definitely Mom's handwriting. I believe you, but this is too far-fetched for me to accept what happened right now. Sorry.
He is right. There aren't many who would easily accept this.
Well, that's understandable. I'm thinking of keeping some distance from her. Sometimes, it's essential to create distance, especially when you're close as a family. Yeah. Luckily, money isn't an issue because Dad has left some for her. So distancing from Mom is the right move.
Kevin pushed up his glasses and struck a pose, like a movie character as he spoke.
I don't want to say bad about your mom, but we're soon expecting a child, and the hate might extend to the baby. That's unacceptable. Even talking about it toward you is already terrible. All right, I'll handle this. No matter how logical you are, Mom looks down on you about your education, so I doubt she'll listen. I'm truly sorry.
He apologized deeply. He consistently supported and defended me. Even when introducing us to his friends for engagement, there were some who said, "Huh? She only graduated middle school? Can you even hold a conversation with her?" It might be true that you need a certain level of understanding to enjoy conversation with someone. But Kevin always,
Go home. Even with the same education level, it seems I can't communicate with you.
with that sarcastic remark, he protected me, preventing me from developing an inferiority complex about my education. Catherine didn't do that in front of him, so I understood it was intentional and managed to accept it. He knew what Catherine was thinking too, and in the end, creating distance was necessary for our happiness. But before we could distance ourselves, Catherine suddenly closed the gap. One day, while I was out for a walk, I saw her approaching with an intense expression. Oh no. What terrible luck. I thought that for a moment, but she smiled and said,
Oh, what a coincidence seeing you here. Oh my, what a lovely baby. Oh, hello, Catherine. Yes, that's right. Still just a month old.
I wanted to end the conversation quickly. However, even though she was in her late 60s, it was hard for me to shake her off while pushing the stroller. I, too, had gained some weight recently, and I didn't have much stamina. It was sunny outside, and I hadn't planned for a long walk, so I didn't have extra drinks or money. I bought a sports drink from a convenience store and tried to find a time to rest in the shade on the way back.
Ah, I'm thirsty. Can I have a bit?
Saying that, she snatched the drink I bought and gulped it down.
Wait, why did you drink it all? Please get another one for me. Oh. Seems like you're out of breath. Could it be heat stroke? That's dangerous. I'll call an ambulance for you.
She called for an ambulance on her smartphone. Shortly after, the ambulance arrived, and they put me on a stretcher. Feeling lightheaded, I struggled to answer the paramedics' questions.
She is my son's wife. I'll bring the necessary documents later. Just let me know which hospital you're taking her to. I'll take care of her kid.
Oh no, her aim wasn't me, it was the child. My head was spinning, and even if I wanted to talk, Catherine kept shaking me, making me feel dazed. As I faded, I caught a glimpse of her sinister smile, which frightened me immensely. When I regained consciousness, Kevin was by my bedside.
Huh? I feel. Just lay down. It's a mild case of heat stroke. It was not bad because you were in the shade and treated by the paramedics before it is too late.
Kevin looked relieved, almost teary-eyed. At that moment, there was a knock, and Catherine entered.
Oh, you're awake. Good to see you're okay.
Her face clearly didn't show joy. Rather, it seemed more like, you're still alive? However, that didn't matter now.
Where's the baby? Where did you take the baby? Oh, I sold that child.
When you receive such a nonsensical response, your thoughts just stop. Both Kevin and I had dumbfounded looks.
Mom? You're joking about selling a child, right? I arranged it as an adoption. After all, it's your child, too, Kevin. My friend's childless couple was troubled by infertility, so I proposed this idea. They were grateful, and they gave money on their own. It was actually right that you did not choose abortion, because it ended up being profitable.
She was boasting, but Kevin was clearly angry. It was the first time I had seen him this furious.
Why would you do that?
He no longer looked at her like a mother. For now, knowing that the child was safe was some solace. But she wouldn't stop.
It's bothersome, isn't it? A child from a woman only with a middle school education. The pure blood of my smart boy, Kevin, will be tainted. Even though I don't have a degree due to the times, I've honed myself with quiz shows. If we produce a child between pure blood, it'll be perfect. What are you saying, Mom? If anything, it seems like having the same blood isn't good.
Despite the odd fact for such a remark, seeing his mother's abnormal behavior, Kevin was visibly distressed.
Kevin, that's not the point. Please, return the child. You stay quiet. Don't boss around with your middle school education.
Her loud voice caught the attention of a nurse who hurried in. I felt bad but decided to involve her as a witness of this situation.
That boy is important for us. I can't believe you kidnapped and gave him away to someone else. I already discussed with Kevin that we will report you to the police and cut ties with you. Too bad. Family theft won't be charged. You know nothing with a middle school education.
A kid is not an object or money, and moreover, not even keeping but selling a child to someone else. When you think about it normally, isn't it a criminal act?
Even if you're not charged, your record will bear this. This is the last warning. Return the child.
With Kevin standing in between and a nurse behind her, ensuring my safety, I bravely held up my smartphone while speaking.
Threats won't work. Kevin, you've seen her true colors, right? Threatening husband's mother is terrifying. Hurry and divorce her and just stay with me. I feel like I'm going insane. I should have acted sooner. Have you lost your mind since Dad passed away?
Kevin pinches his forehead, keeping his composure. He probably made up his mind.
Mom, this is my final warning too. Return the child now. If you don't, it won't just be a family matter anymore. We don't want a child you, with just a middle high school education, gave birth to. That's why I gave him up for adoption. As expected, she is mistaken. Catherine, first of all, I haven't given birth yet. My belly is still big, isn't it? Huh? Then whose child is that? I thought this one just gained weight.
So rude. It would be a lie to say I'm not gaining weight, but it's jumping to conclusions. Also, calling someone this one or that one after revealing their true nature is infuriating.
That child is the president's child from Kevin's company.
I met the president's wife at the birth center, and we struck up a conversation. She recently gave birth, and since she's not feeling well, I was looking after the baby while taking a walk. I was supposed to circle back, but you found me, leading to the current situation.
So, Mom is now admitting to kidnapping someone else's child and selling him. Since we know where he is, I've already reported it to the president. The couple you sold the child to, they're your friend's son couple, right? They contacted me already, saying, your mom suddenly brought a child, and we had a bad feeling, so we took him in. If someone's grandmother brings a newborn, not the actual parent, it would raise suspicion, right?
Confronted by me, she looked down upon, and her own son. She sweats profusely.
What? When I gave it to them, they didn't say anything. Of course, given the abnormality of handing a child over like that, they were prioritizing the child's safety. The president's wife knows the situation and they forgave me, but if it had gone wrong, it could have cost the kid's life. Of course, she won't forgive you, and she is going to report you to the police.
Finally grasping the severity upon hearing police, she seems to understand the situation.
You all are overreacting. If they forgave us, it's fine, right? They forgave Annie. I said I could report you to the police, to the president and his wife. Even then, despite their child being kidnapped, they gave you one chance. Yet, you show no remorse.
Desperate to please Kevin, Catherine stumbles.
If I had known it was someone else's child, I wouldn't have done this. I'm sorry. You're mistaken about what you should be regretting. The way you say it, it's like if it was the real child, there wouldn't have been any issue. I can't let someone like you meet our child.
She pales, shocked. Did she really not understand until I spelled it out like this?
Catherine, did you become like this after your husband passed away? Frankly, it's abnormal. It's a tough decision, but either way, I'm cutting ties with you. Cutting ties with you doesn't matter to me. Please, Kevin. Divorce her and come back.
She extends her arms, welcoming Kevin.
I've said this many times, but I'm cutting ties with you too.
If things come to this, I didn't even need my education. I appreciate the upbringing, but it's time for you to let go. Repent properly and live quietly from now on. As a final act of filial piety, I'll arrange for facilities or hospital arrangements. But first, atone for your sins. From my perspective as a soon-to-be parent, I can't overlook what you have done. The anxiety of having a child kidnapped, not knowing his safety. Mom, you understand, don't you? I can't let my kid meet such a monster like you.
No, why did it come to this? If even Kevin is gone, I'll end it all and kill myself.
I lost my temper at her easy, unfair rage.
Don't belittle life. Just because you're my husband's mother doesn't make it okay. I've endured enough. What? You never understand my...
Before Catherine could finish, Kevin explained why I got so angry.
Mom, Annie's parents died in a fire. Both of them protected her.
After I lost my parents, I was raised by my grandparents from my mother's side, who weren't wealthy, so I voluntarily started working right after middle school.
I never heard such a thing. That's not something to casually share. Above all, no matter the reason, mocking someone based on education isn't acceptable. On top of that, the arsonist was a minor at the time, claiming stress as his motive. I never expected anyone to die. I'm not at fault, I am a minor. He made those selfish excuses. Like you right now, Mom.
Catherine, perhaps overwhelmed by her son's words, started crying.
Please don't cry now. Regardless of the reasons, stealing a child from their parents is unforgivable. In my mind, that arsonist back then and you, Catherine, are equally guilty. Even your father died for an unfair reason. You don't understand? I would have. If you had told me.
I sighed deeply.
I can't deal with someone who wouldn't understand something that everyone knows without being told.
In your case, you still don't understand, don't you, even if we keep explaining? Even now, you probably think cutting ties or being reported is a joke. Kevin opened the door of the hospital room. Police officers entered, accompanied by the child's mother, the president's wife.
Kevin, are you sure about this? Thank you for your concern despite everything. What my mother did cannot be excused just because your son was safe. Please ensure a fair punishment for her.
Hearing Kevin, the officer nodded to him and took Catherine, who was sitting there dumbfounded. The president's wife told us that they had her son secured. Subsequently, Catherine was arrested. Her attempt to sell the child was considered heinous, and she received a sentence of 5 years without parole. The maximum sentence for this act seemed to be 7 years, but for a first offense, this was substantial. By the time Catherine is released, she won't have the patience to track us. Following this incident, Kevin offered to resign, but the president and his wife admonished him, "You're about to have a child. You need support Annie and the baby." Truly amazing people. I believe Kevin will surely contribute greatly to this company from now on. Even the president's wife, at that time, expressed concern for my health, attributing the problem to Catherine only. She even offered to hang out together when our baby is born, and I couldn't help but cry. I also met the Catherine's friend who secured the child. At that time, Catherine's behavior seemed odd, and they weren't sure what would happen if they declined her plan, so they pretended to agree and then took the child. I was also upset that Catherine insensitively brought a kid to the couple that were struggling with infertility. We have already shared what happened with those around us, so there's no place for Catherine to return to anymore. I can't meet my own mother, who has passed away. Catherine can't meet her own son and her grandchild even though they are alive. Perhaps she's going through something much harder than me. I don't sympathize at all, but thinking about it, I find it ironic. It's been 5 years since the incident, and Catherine will be released soon. I was hanging out with the president's wife and the child who was kidnapped at the time, along with my child. I received a message from the friend of Catherine who secured the child. She received a call from Catherine, but she also told her not to contact her anymore.
Imagine my grandchild were kidnapped too.
Yes, since then, her son's couple had a baby, and now she is here playing with our kids. We have got over Catherine and what she has done, and, although exhausted from playing with our kids, we are enjoying our life without her.